parents' fault for that.
It's nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with us. It's to do with the young generation, for them to say they hound sunking. Hey, it's got nothing to do with us. That's what we're fighting for. For our young generations, for them to say, at least they own something. At least they say, yeah, we got something to fall back on. Hey, at least we're not fucking running, like we say, yeah, we're running off the white man's land because the white man think he owns everything.
Way back in black history, we walked this land, yeah, and we were free. But those days are now dead and gone. And those days we will never see. Yeah, 'cause the white man, he came here one day. And that white man, he came here and he stayed. Now we're living in this big white world. Gotta get back to being black, my girl. 'Cause if you stay and live the white man's way, you'll be seduced, yeah, and here you'll stay. Yeah, 'cause the white man, he came here one day. Yeah, that white man, he came here and he stayed.
Yeah, one of the lads put this up as a marker for the camp.
Ask JC taught me how to levitate.
You've been levitating,
Master Guru. Yeah, man. Indian gurus come here to learn off him. He's a bit shy, he won't take the money.
Let's go see the camp, it's doing pretty well.
He's still Bowie. Oh, fuck yeah. He's ready. Last time I was out here, it was raining and it was.
Yeah.
It was coming in. Come on, David, smell and get the wood.
Yeah.
Build a fire now.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a bit of a way, really good chainsawing trees down this guy.
Should introduce that to Harry, who
You were born around this area?
Born in Barrel, man.
Barrowville?
Yeah. What's the mill just outside of town?
Newey Creek?
No, just out Barrel going towards Maxwell.
Oh, the one above the racecourse.
No, on the other side.
Oh, the Borrell Mill.
That's
the big Borrell Mill. There's a few mills around Barrow.
I was actually born there at the mill.
You were born at the mill? At the Borrell Mill?
It wasn't Borrell then. Father used to work there, in little workers' huts. That's where I was born.
So what do you reckon then? How long were you in Barraville for?
What, when I was born?
Yeah.
5 I got taken away.
Yeah, what do you mean taken away?
The government roundup, you know, that's what we call them anyway, I suppose you used to call them the same thing.
What, when you were 5, the government came in and rounded up all the kids?
Not just me, we're in Barra, I think it was 5 or 6 different families. Like they had roundups whenever they wanted it, you understand, didn't you? When we were taken, a couple of families from Nambucca at the same time. We were the last actually. And I'm going to kindergarten, first class, whatever you call it. And when we got taken away, I got taken away with an older sister, me, 3 younger brothers and 2 younger sisters. And the youngest sister was a baby in nappies at that stage.
Where were you living when they took you away?
At Barraville Mission.
So they took people off the mission?
Well, you know, my little mind doesn't really specifically clear the day and all that, but they did, you know what I mean? Well, like Mum told me years ago, when she was little when they had them roundups, my dad, well, Mum, she's a Kempsey breed. Her mother's Kempsey breed, Gumbaynggirr. Grandfather, he's a little boat boy from somewhere over fucking Malaysia somewhere. Mum was telling me when her mother had her over there at Kempsey, and the word gets around on the grapevine, and when where you are, and there's a roundup coming to Kempsey. So she's saying he left Barra, walked to Kempsey and walked back here. Took him a few days, like, you know, camping and fishing.
Yeah, right. Took them back up here because
save her from getting taken away.
And so where'd they take you when they took you away?
It's a place outside Grafton.
Burnt Bridge?
No, it's on the highway there. It was a Catholic nun's home.
Oh. And what, they separated all the kids or kept them all together?
Well, we were all first there originally together, and as boys get older they get shipped out because it's only little kids and girls there. So I was the first to go. I went to Sydney from there. I can't exactly remember what age and all that shit. But I think I got to Sydney when I was in 6th class, whatever that age would be.
12, something like that. 11, 12.
Something like that. Or maybe 5th class. I'm not too sure anyway. But anyway, that ended up in Boys Home, Parramatta, Westmead there. And then my brother come a year after me. And then the other 2 younger brothers who were younger than, well, geez, they were a few years younger than him. Like, they still had to go through all the shit till they were 16 anyway.
Were people being rounded up then, or were people disappearing as well? Or?
Well, you know, I was only a kid, I didn't fucking know what was going on, you know. I didn't know anything about roundup.
But since then, have you seen roundups?
No. Well, you know, I've been in the white world since then. I haven't been on a mission to see another roundup or whatever.
When did you come back up here? How old were you then?
Probably 17. Maybe going on 18, I suppose. When I come back up this way.
And how about the old people down there? There's still old people around
Barra.
the area when you came back?
Well, the oldest fellow there was Old Bluebird, Old Blue. I don't know his gub name, I don't know his Koori name either, but that was his nickname, Old Blue. He was the oldest then. But I remember before I left, I remember a few old dudes when I was a little fella, like it. But only sort of like photographic memories of it. Nothing like sitting down having a conversation with him, remembering that in detail. But when I come back, Old Blue was the oldest.
So what do you reckon What's life like down on the mission there now?
Well, mission's like just a time warp, you know. It hasn't come forward for 200 years, it isn't going anywhere, it's just a mission, you know. Yeah. So it's like a life sentence, you know.
You think the people down there all feel that way really too? Or?
Well, I don't know how to say it, but I don't know whether they're, I don't know how to put it, whether they're smart enough to realise that it's the way they're living, you know. Because to me it's just like a life sentence. The kids are born today. I mean, if I live long enough to see them, 40-year-old or whatever, with their kids, it ain't going to be any different. Because they're not going to change. Because no one's going to be rich, and if they do get rich, they're going to give it away anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the way it is, eh? So what do you think could change that? What do you think could change that?
Well, I don't mind how it is, but if we could have tribal law, that'd be the big difference. You know what I mean? To teach blacks respect for everything and anything, you know? And where if they've got respect for a start, then they might think about, fuck this, man, let's get out of this world, you know what I mean? We know there's another world where there is respect, you know? If they learn that now. But we need tribal law to, because the only way to make it to, I know, like, young fellas down in town there, you know, you got to, only way they're going to listen to me, they're knocking over.
So what do you reckon tribal law would be defined as? Like everybody works for the tribe?
Well, put it, no.
Children and women come first, or what? You know, how would you define?
Well, putting this, I'm just talking about putting the lads straight, you know, instead of just being what they are and they're nothing. Oh, you know what I mean? Just drunk or whatever. Put them straight. Either give them a choice to stay there. So they've got a choice. Stay there or come out here. So they realise that, you know.
Yeah.
And like. Tribal law is an accepted thing. See, if the government said tomorrow, if it did say tomorrow, you know, Aboriginals can have tribal law back, it would be accepted by men straight away.
Yeah.
I don't know about the women.
I can't speak for the women anyway.
Eh? But under well, what I think under traditional tribal law is the men were the lawmakers and the lawgivers anyway. You know what I mean? But they weren't power hungry fuckwits, you know. They all knew what they were doing and what life was about.
Do you reckon getting out here at all would make a big difference to people? Local Koori people?
Well, for now, it makes a difference. You're out here, you know, it's a different world. But, I mean, I don't see them coming out here. They're actually living here.
Well, no one ever used to live here full time, eh?
No. No, I mean, it'd be good if they come out here and had weekends and stuff. Eh? It would be different.
Some people have been saying it'd be a good place to bring the kids if you had a good, you know, big hall to take them to, teach them the dancing up here and the songs up here instead of down in town.
Okay, but we got to know the songs and dances too. Yeah. Otherwise, we're going to bring the kids up here and the parents are going to sit around the fire and whatever, do nothing. The kids are going to do nothing because they're used to watching TV. We don't have dances.
Yeah, well, Runga's happy to.
Yeah, but he can only teach young dudes, you know, lads, by rights. Oh, you know.
Apparently it's been changed a bit recently. He's
well, mate, I mean,
as well now.
Anyone can change the law now. This is a white world.
Uh-huh.
Anyone can change the fucking law now. I could change any law that I could think of, you know.
Why? Because you have authority? Because
no, because there's no respect for no one else's culture anywhere. You know?
Uh-huh.
It's just a white man's attitude, like change your law. It was like bloody like they you know, what's it called? The so-called
native title.
Tribal elder fucking titles they're doing in Newcastle. $300 or something to get down there and get initiated, which is crap. You know?
Oh yeah, you come out of the area and you
yeah, was that
come
initiated?
from a different place, yeah.
No, I don't know.
Well, there's a few different levels of initiation, I guess, too.
Yeah, but paying for it?
Yeah, I know.
And travelling somewhere else? I mean, if you're Gumbaynggirr, you've got to be a Gumbaynggirr elder.
Yeah.
To fucking initiate in your own land, you know what I mean? That's traditional, isn't it?
So,
but that's what I say, you know, society's changing. Look at that. You can go down to Newcastle now and boom, tomorrow I'm a tribal elder. Or, you know, a week later or whatever. $400.
Yeah.
Or whatever they say, anyway, that's what I've heard.
Do you think that Gumbaynggirr people coming back up here would be able to initiate themselves if they make connection with the land again?
The only way I could see them making connection with the land again, mate, is an atomic war, and they have no fucking choice but to come up here.
What do you mean? If they had to come up here, they would, but that's about it.
Yeah. They're too urban now, and they're too comfortable, and they're comfortably numb, and always have been. And like, you know, Gubba's got here and just fenced the old dudes in, and every other person in the tribe, and then, like I was saying before, the old fella just sat there and died. Fuck this world, you're not going to live here. And took what they had, because it was, see, they knew, you know what I mean? Because of the white ignorance just coming in and taking it. Well, where's the respect, you know, straight away? Why teach them anything? Why show them anything? You know?
Yeah.
Why pass anything on? That's why I've lost a lot of it. Well, I don't know a lot of it either. Hardly anything with it.
Do you think the land itself can bring it back in people though as well?
Good atomic war, mate. No worries.
I mean, if people were actually up here,
Yeah, oh, for sure, yeah, you know. But I mean, in reality, it wouldn't. You know what I mean?
because that wouldn't
True.
happen there.
Well, it's the 20th century, mate. You know? People don't like cabins and candles and outside shithouses in the fucking bush with spiders and snakes and all that crap, you know? People aren't into it. Eh?
Trained not to.
Yeah, well, you know, it's the 20th century, like. Yeah. Nearly everyone's quite urban, you may as well say. It's only the people that come out the bush to see the bush that know what the bush is.
Yeah.
But again, I can't see them all coming out here.
No, I can't see all of anyone coming out here at any time. You wouldn't want all of anyone coming out here because
No,
it's a place
I
to
know
get trashed anyway, but you know, I agree 100%. There's different people. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
Still, I just know...
I'd live out here forever, peacefully, you know what I mean? No worries. Even, not just here, I mean any place like here, yeah? Forever.
So what's all this native title legislation mean to you, Bill?
Native title legislation. Okay. Well, in actual fact, it doesn't really mean nothing to me. But native title legislation, I mean, living in this world, everything's got to be bloody legal shit and all that crap and all on paper. So native title legislation in that sense, you know, is good, because at least we've got a chance of saying we own something. But, like I say, you know, why the fuck should we have to sign papers to say, and then to say that we actually got this permission to have this land off these white fellas, you know what I mean? Things like that. But native title, if we can get all the land we need, yeah, I don't mind, and you know, all the state forests and everything else that isn't used by the governors.
What would you do with it, you reckon?
Nothing, mate. Just live in there, live off the land, and just live there. Come back into town, or you know, get a few bucks, buy a bloody what do you call them? You hang in the sun, or you put up in the sun.
Solar hot water system.
Solar thing, system. Yeah, and I'd take out the electric guitar, and I'd have a bit of 20th century out there, but as far as living, you know, I'd live off the land. So that's not too bad.
21st century Stone Age.
Well, yeah, you know, it'd be all right, you know.
Yep. So, what do you reckon about the government? You think you can trust any government in the country?
No. The only reason why you can't trust the government is because the government's always split in two. There's always two sides. And you're stuck in the middle either way. So what's the point?
Mm-hmm. And so, like, the white paperwork and everything's pretty well meaningless. I mean, as far as you're concerned, you own it all anyway.
No, well, see, well, the difference, I sort of see the difference this way. Well, this is what I believe anyway. Like, to put it, say black society, world black society, like the elders they've lived there, they've been here before you, you know what I mean? They know more than you fucking think you're going to know, right? So naturally, common sense and everything else, you know, you're going to go and see the elder about something, aren't you, you know what I mean? Alright. And with the white society, it's not the fucking elder. I mean, it might have been years ago, but then they've made it into a power position, and you get a lick and fucking backstab and all that shit, you know? So they don't listen to common sense at all.
If the whole country could go any way that you wanted it to go, how would you like to see it?
Well, it can't, mate. You've got the rest of the fucking world pressing you. You know, I'd love to see everyone free and totally, you know. But then as soon as that happens, you got every other nation around the world coming, oh, this is a free country, we'll take it. And start again. So you have to, I mean, the whole world's got to think it. And the only way, I'm just saying, mate, the only way we can get this back, or anything back to reality, like where Mother Nature wanted us, is a fucking nuclear war. That's all I can say about it. Because it's too late now, mate, all the pollution, you name it, you know. And
what about up here where you've got clean water and clean air? Places like this?
Well,
this is the closest you can get to where so-called civilization is and still have clean air and clean water, right? It's still a bit of a way out, but there are places like this. Not many people, like you say, really want to come up here, but the people who do want to come up here, they could probably do interesting things up here, to say the least.
Well, that's what I'm saying, you know. If the people, let's say, to themselves, fuck this, I want to get out of here and go up there. I mean, if they were allowed to and never be bothered again because they're not fucking the place, good. But then the government tear down fucking 200-acre trees and send you a piece of paper saying, you know, you're sitting in the wrong spot, mate.
So you prefer to see the trees stay there, eh?
No, of course you would, you know what I mean? I mean, whatever's around, I mean, you've got to have bush to have a feed around. Otherwise there's nothing here to eat.
And if the local people could have what they wanted in terms of land, particularly in terms of access to land, they'd really want a river system too, clean water, say, for instance. Yeah.
Yeah, of course they would.
And the only big crown land around anywhere, crown timbered land, for instance, is the state forests, right? And that's the only places where you've got these giant valleys full of rain forests and clean water and lots of bush tucker and everything. It's the only places left.
Yeah, I know.
So, from what we as the Greens can see, it's about the only place left that's fair and available to any of the local people for them to be able to live the way they want to. Is the big state forests, because according to the High Court decision, no one can claim national park and no one can claim beachfront. The only decent-sized bits of land left that aren't postage stamps, from what we can see, are these state forests, as you can see here.
Well, you know, like, I'm up here now with you dudes, and you just do your thing to stop all this forestry fucking shit going on. Oh, you know what I mean? It don't matter what you do, you're governed by the big fella anyway, what you call Big Brother. I mean,
even out here, you reckon?
Well, he'll be here sooner or later if he knows you're here. He's got to send some rep out here.
And if he sees that there are people here who are entitled to claim it under native title, what do you reckon he'll do then?
Look, mate, he makes the laws, he's got the courts. He can do exactly what he fucking wants, you know? Exactly. And whatever he says, that rep could say it. I could say get fucked and still live here, you know what I mean? Which I would, but he could still do that. And in this society, like, then I'm a criminal, you know what I mean? Or some sort of fucking antagonist, some crap like that, you know what I mean?
So on the one hand, like, you know, you can't trust any of the paperwork because the governments can change tomorrow.
Of course they can.
And on the other hand, like, really the only way to make any connection with the place is to actually be out here.
Yeah, well, the only way, well, in my lifetime, the only way I'm going to be Aboriginal is come out here and fucking be Aboriginal, you know what I mean? Just do it myself. Who gives a fuck about who, permission and all that crap? That's the only way I'm going to do it in my lifetime, you know? But it'd be good if you had a fucking, like a little tribe out here, like, hey. You got to learn bloody... This is a song called My Mother, the Land. All our homeland is disappearing, and the chainsaw is what we're hearing. white man, he's still clearing. Been clearing away all his land, so we gotta get up and make a stand, yeah. Been doing it now for 200 years. I look at my people, I see the fear, yeah. Oh, my mother, yeah, the lion. Yes, my mother, she needs a hand. Oh, my mother, yeah, the land. Now all my people are uniting, and all our friends will join the fighting. Yeah, 'cause the people are realizing. You realize that this land can take the abuse and make a stand, yeah. You realize we don't help soon, this land will look just like the moon, yeah. Oh, my mother, yeah, the lion. Yes, my mother, she needs a hand. Oh, my mother, yeah, the land. Now my mother, she's dying, and the white man, yeah, he's still lying. And my people, they're all crying. They're crying out this simple plea, just leave the land and let it be, yeah. They're crying out for liberty, to roam the land and all live free, yeah. Oh, my mother, yeah, the lion. Yes, my mother, she needs a hand. Oh, my mother, yeah, the land. We got to help our mother save the land. Right.
The hatchet's gonna fall. It's coming down. Look, we're sick of it. We gotta get back to the bush, back to our old ways. It's just, town sucks. Everything in there sucks. Grog, fucking police. Every shit in there. There's only pubs in town. That's all you fucking see on the corners. Lads staggering around, all the boys. I'd rather see them out here, partying up, fucking build themselves a teepee or do something, instead of sitting around in town doing nothing. It's the usual thing over and over again. Plus they're ripping the shit out of all this forest and getting away with it. And no one's saying anything. No one along the coast is, look, it's only the greenies, you know, it's only them greenies, you know, all these greenies, that's about all. There's no blacks out there fighting for what are we supposed to be fighting for? The land, what's on the land? Fucking forest, eh? That's what we should be fighting for, is our forests back. Not this shit like a $60,000 block of fucking land in town. That's full of shit. You just gotta build a house there and they're gonna wreck the bastard anyway. Why fight for that? You can fight for a lot. Shove it up a lot of them. It's all our land, they know it. from? Who was here first?
Still makes this old growth.
First set of getters.
Exactly, and that still makes this old growth.
Yeah, that would have been the first set of getters that done that then.
The new definition of old growth is one whose canopy is pretty much intact.
They should take
Like
them
this.
take them down to Nambucca and put them on boats down there, man.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. A lot of things got to happen in the next few years before the government starts closing everything down. There won't be no money for blacks or anything. Might as well start fighting for something decent. Like I said, instead of the town blocks, they can always get town blocks. But you're not going to be... Well, if we get hold of this now, while we can, we'll have it for the future. I won't be here long, but I might last maybe to the year 2000 at the most, see the Olympics. After that, but it's all downhill for me. It'll be shit creek. Who's going to take over then? It's got to be our kids. What are they going to have? The townhouses, that's going to be wrecked. And that's and no government funding going to them to rebuild them or anything. There's only one place we're going to get the money from, and that's from off our land. Everything's out here, our industry, the whole of Australia is based around our logging industry and everything. That was the first industry here. When the white man got here, first thing they saw was all our trees. He said, "Ah, fuck, look at all this. Hey, take all this shit. No one's using it. These black fellas not using it. They just burn it every now and then for the animals. That's all we did with it."
So what would you do with it now then? What would you do here now? If you could do anything you wanted to here now?
If I could do anything I wanted to here now, maybe I'd set this up as a decent base camp for anyone who'd want to run back and forwards in and out of town just for getting their own personal peace of mind out of it. Anything like that, you know? And then, like, we can go and ask our elders about the place and everything. And if they tell us we're not allowed to go somewhere, we won't send anyone there, or we won't go there. Like the loggers won't go in there, or the greenies won't go in there, because we'll say, no, he's not allowed in there and we're not allowed in there. That'll be the end of that. No one will be in there for the next... till hell freezes over. Who gives a shit? You know, those trees there, that's a natural resource. A tree, a living thing, that's a natural resource. How many houses can you build out of one of these trees and that? You get a fair few beams and that, but you're not going to get much out of them. And you can't just replant them straight away and just sprout them up overnight like anything, like corn and that. Corn only grows over a season. Trees, how long trees grow? Thousands of years nearly. And it's not worth just reaping it all out now when it's only just starting to grow back. You can see by the way they've stuffed this log dump, they've left everything laying around. At least we can just get a bit of control over it and tell them where to go with it and what to do. It won't matter who's black, white, brindle. As long as you don't bring your hassles out here, it's no problem. When you're out here, it's a survival trip. There's thousands of ways to die out here. You can die and rot and no one will find you ever. You'll end up with this mulch on the ground. You gotta be on a survival trip to be out here. Back to where you come from. Or where everyone, your ancestors mainly, our ancestors came from. from, everyone's. We're all the same, all primitive ancestors. Whether we come from caves or fucking whatever.
Deep forests.
That's right. Forests or deserts. It's practically all survived the same way. That was find water. Live the best way we can.
Is there any way you can
Live
think
off the
of...
land, animals, plants that's in the area. Use the land, not degrade it. You know? Instead of stuffing it up, at least you can get something back out of it. Where you put a crop in, you clear all that paddock and you grow your crop. You can only grow your corn for so many seasons, and there it's given up on the corn then. And then you got to grow something else, or redo that soil all over again. And that's just costing big money, you know.
How's that work
There's
up in the
nothing
forest?
there.
How's that work up in the forest then? When the soil's gone, it's not going to come back from anywhere up here on tops of the mountains.
That's right. It's not coming back up here. Once you cut the trees down and the undergrowth goes, all this lantana and shit moves in, and that's the end of that. That's what stays here, all lantana. That's all we walk around, blackberries and lantana. It's full of shit everywhere.
Down to me. Any day now. What do you reckon, Bill? You remember times around here, around Barrowville, when segregation was still happening?
Yeah.
What was it like in Barrowville?
Well, I didn't actually know it was segregation when it was segregation. But when I was young, we had to go in there, down the side door of the picture theatre. Weren't allowed to sit in the seats.
What, you had to sit in the aisles?
No, down the front.
Down the front, on the floor?
It's actually, like, we didn't know it was segregation. I realised what it was. And old people never had a word. Never had that word to use.
Yeah.
It's only a recent word, isn't it, really?
Wouldn't have been in the original tongue here, eh? Wouldn't have been in the original language here.
Well, I wouldn't have even thought of. You know, it's only a white conception.
What else around town? How about the pubs and places like that?
Well, I was too young for pubs and too young to know much about them too. But what I do know, what I have been told, is they had to have cards to be in town, and them cards allowed them to buy grog and shit. But that's only the Kooris that were white, that licked ass. You know? The Kooris that were black weren't allowed near anything anyway.
And where did they have to stay?
Well, they just didn't give a fuck about town, so they stayed down the river or at the mish, you know. And they got the lads with the tickets to buy their grog.
So your dad told you about the freedom rides through this area too, yeah?
Yeah, he rode the buses through here. Through Coffs Harbour and all that shit.
And what were the freedom buses?
They were the buses that protested for the, you know, for the rights of the blacks not to have separation. What is it? Like the South African rights. What is it?
Apartheid.
Yeah, the apartheid rights. Same shit. It's still happening here today. But it's on a more conservative scale. Like, they don't show it as much, but there's a lot more hatred in Barra than what people show. It's there. And in the early days, they showed it by keeping them out of the pubs. Like Bill Jack said early part, there was only certain people allowed in there. People with tickets and that. Fancy carrying a ticket down the street to say that you're allowed in the street. No white man, look, he had to walk off the gutter sometimes. If a white woman was walking up the street, a black fella had to walk off the bloody side onto the road. let her walk past. That's the way it was. These days, it's starting to be, with the alternative lifestyle that's kicked in all over the place, it's getting a bit better. But still, there's those rednecks in town, and that's why I don't like town. It just sucks. You know?
So you reckon it'd be good to have a big space where the local brothers and sisters could go where they didn't have to feel that sort of pressure then, eh?
This is what we want to build, something like that here, where they can come and, like I said, have their own peace of mind, get away from whatever they want to get away from, anyone, you know. No one's going to come up here hassling them. Anyone can come up here. It's everyone's land. All we want is it back for us to have a bit of say in what's happening to it. We don't want it ending up like this shit here on the pile here behind us.
It's to do with the young generation. For them, they say they hound sunking. Hey, it's got nothing to do with us. That's what we're fighting for. For our young generations, for them to say, at least they own something. At least they say, yeah, we got something to fall back on. Hey, at least we're not fucking running, like we say, yeah, we're running off the white man's land because the white man think he owns everything.
So what the district forester say then?
I don't know, he just reckons it's just a joke, putting in this claim.
Claim for the state forest is just a joke.
Yeah, it's just a joke that Steve raising.
And what does he think that... So he doesn't think you're serious about actually claiming the land back?
Yeah, he doesn't realise that he's the joke.
He's the joke.
Yeah. The black man has lived here for 40,000 years on his own. And the white man came 200 years ago and stole his home. He fenced the black man in on reserves against his will. Yeah, and he claimed everything that he saw, put his mansions up on the hills. So we've got to unite and get together tonight and stand up for our rights to change the laws. White man, white law, black man too poor. White man, white law, black man too poor. Today the black man, he got nothing and he don't go nowhere. Yeah, 'cause the white man, he owns all the land and he won't share. He gives the black man the pension and the dole, but he still lives on the missions. Yeah, 'cause the white man took away all his land and tribal traditions. So we've got to unite and get together tonight and stand up for our rights to change the laws. White man, white law, black man too poor. White man, white law, black man too poor. White man, white law.
Yeah.
I like something highly irrelevant to what this is all about. But here we go. If two fathers and two sons went fishing, they each caught a fish and they come home. threw it on the table, and there's only 3 fish on the table. Now you work that out.